I'm gonna give you a couple of tips and tricks how to improve your Bubbles application's design to make it look attractive and pleasing experience for your user to use. There's a whole stigma around no code, right? No code equals ugly. I do agree with this statement to some extent, mainly due to the fact that no code is accessible to anyone, right? You can interact with AI. You don't need to know how to program. You can build websites or applications, right? Especially with Bubble and beginners getting into this no-code software development space, they focus more on the fundamentals, the foundation, how the application works, and they want to build something that just solves a problem and it's fine to use. However, the design aspect and the user experience, it's not there most of the time. People are not designers, right? I wasn't either when I started out, but throughout the way, trial and error, I've learned many concepts or design frameworks that I want to share with you. Obviously, this document is going to be in the description, so make sure to check out a bunch of links. There's 60-30-10 rule when it comes to colors and stuff like. I'm gonna link everything in the document, so make sure to check that out. But other than that, we're gonna build three things. We're gonna build this sidebar, then we're gonna build this input, and then I'm gonna show you how to improve the user experience by just creating this skeleton loading animation. Let's get straight into it. If you watched one of my previous videos, I'm gonna repeat myself, but I just wanna make that clear that this is something crucial when you start building out your application, right? So we have this Figma template, again, this is a color palette, to essentially set out your colors before you start building. Same with fonts. This is a setup, which I'm going to show you anyway. And this is kind of like the layout. This template is going to be in the document, so make sure to check that out. And when it comes to Figma, you can also design your whole application in Figma and take it and put it into Bubble. However, you have to connect a bunch of elements and stuff like that. This is something that we do not do yet because I don't see the value in it that much. But maybe in the future, we'll implement that in our agency as well. If you're interested about this topic, I'm going to link a video in the description as well. Now, the other thing, right? So let's say you set out your colors. You want your background color to be this black, right? You go to this platform, uicolors.app. A great platform. Again, if you see previous videos, I'm going to repeat myself, but this essentially gives you all the shades of the specific color you want to use, right? Why is that important? It's the consistency of your app's design, right? You don't want to random yellow here, then red here, blue here, then black here, right? There has to be consistency. So you need probably 3 colors max, and your application would look consistent, essentially. Then I have a great platform that I came across recently, and if you ever used ChatGPT or Midjourney, this is essentially the same thing, but for designs. So it's v0.dev, again in the description, but essentially you would type in what you want to build, and I did sales team tracking dashboard, and it gave me 3 designs of how it could look like, right? And I think this is a great way to inspire yourself or give yourself ideas of how the application could look like, right? So this is a great platform. Check that out. It's for free. Obviously, you have some credits you can pay, but it's mostly free. And lastly, for inspiration, I use dribble.com. Again, a bunch of designs just to inspire yourself and see what's possible to build. Right, so there we have that. Let's go into Bubble, and I'm gonna show you my styles, right? So we have the Figma template, that's awesome, but we have to set up those styles in Bubble, right? To be more effective, right? You wanna copy the hex code every single time you're trying to match the colors, right? So you would set your styles in here. So when you go to the left-hand side, styles variables, be sure to duplicate this. It's in the Figma template as well, but we have a primary color. So for this tutorial, we have primary color is blue, the background is gonna be black, and text essentially is white. Right, very simple, straightforward. When it comes to elements, the only thing I use when it comes to styles is the button. So I have primary, large, mid, secondary, large, mid, danger, and then what else do I have? Text, right? Again, consistency, very important. But other than that, like I don't use anything else. Maybe in the pop-up I have like padding, but I would focus on those 2 buttons and mainly text. So first things first, we're going to design the sidebar, right? So I think it would make sense to create a reusable element that we can use many times if we, create a separate dashboard for admins, members, stuff like that. So let's go right here, add a new reusable element. Let's name it sidebar tutorial, right? Let's create. Now let's set this to column. Let's set this through 400. And 992, right? So essentially what I want to do is I want to have a larger sidebar, and then I want to, if I want to hide it, it's going to be a smaller one, expand it, the same one, stuff like that. So first things first, before I do anything, let's click on the sidebar tutorial, go to information, add a new custom state, and I just do expand, question mark, yes and no, if it's expanded or not, right? And the default is going to be yes. It's going to make sense later on, but yeah. So let's grab a repeating group. Let's grab a repeating group. Where is, no, floating group, I'm sorry, floating group. And let's make that a column. And let's make the width, 250, and fit with the content remove. So now we have the sidebar. This is the larger sidebar, right? So sidebar large. It's always a good practice to name your elements so you don't get lost. So we have large. In terms of padding, let's do 25, 25, 20, and 20, right? So now we have that. Where do we start? I usually start with the logo, right? I have a logo in here, so let's grab an image. Let's grab an image, paste it in here. Just keep the fixed ratio. I just want to make this 80, and I have this image. Boom. Let's make this 120. Make it bigger. 160. 160 works fine, I would say. Awesome. Now let's grab a Google Material icon. Yeah. One last thing before I continue. In terms of plugins, I have this. Toasting notification, I don't know if we're going to use that, but Google Material icons, right? Always Google Material icons. So let's grab an icon, and this is going to be like the expand and height, right? And I'm just going to make it like an arrow to the left to make it 24 by 24, 24 by 24. And again, now we have the styles, right? And I'm going to use placeholder text, which is more of like a grayish color, and I'm gonna decrease the opacity to like 50%, right? Then we're gonna grab this, so click left, hold shift, click another left, group elements in a row, and boom. Now let's do, this is gonna be group top, or you can group logo, doesn't really matter, as long as you know what it is. Let's fit height to content, let's make this center aligned, as well as content alignment wide, essentially, right? In terms of the when we hover, I would say the condition is this material icon is hovered, then the color is going to be placeholder text, but with 100 opacity, right? Now, when I look at this is something, one of my best aha moments when it comes to design was using transitions, right? Because essentially when you hover over it, which I'm going to show you, let me show you. Let's go test, and let's grab the sidebar. Let's just grab the sidebar and let's preview. If I grab the sidebar, you see like it quickly changes the color, which we don't want that. We don't want that. We want something smooth and clean. So it's essential. I do that with every single element. And that's when you go to appearance and you select new transition, what you want to, slow down, essentially. That's icon color. And let's make it, 200, I believe it's okay. So when you hover over it, you see, like, hopefully you see the difference, but, it's a little bit different. It's slower, therefore it's smoother, right? Awesome. So now we have that. Let's set for the sidebar, let's just set good practice as well to make a gap so the elements are not together. And then let's grab, okay, so what do we want to build? Let's do home, let's do statistics, let's do database, team, settings, my account for the navigation, right? So let's grab a text. Let's put it in here. Let's do home. Remove the fit height or min width. Same with this. And let's grab a body small. Now, again, you have styles for your elements, for your text. Now you can just select what you want to essentially use, right? So now we have home. And let's grab a material icon. And let's make it home. We want to use this one. Yeah, let's use this one. This is going to be 20 by 20. 20 by 20, and this is what displays hold the text. Awesome. So now let's grab the icon, grab the text, group it in a row. Let's put the icon as a first element. Let's make this fit width to content. And in terms of the padding, let's do 6 by 6 by 8 by 8, right? And the roundness of this group would be, I usually do 8, 5, 8, 10. It's kind of like the maximum. In terms of the row or gap, let's do 6. What about 8? Okay, 8 seems nice. And let's name this nav home, right? We're not gonna add new groups or new navs just yet. I want to design this specifically, this one specifically, and then we're just going to copy and change icons. So let's make this, when this group is hovered, then a style, which is going to be color. Again, we don't have a set style or background style, so let's do flat color. Let's do the same thing. It doesn't really matter. We can do like 0 opacity. Doesn't really matter because it's transparent, right? But when we hover over this group, the color is going to be, well, let's make this background. So now I have a background border, which is a little bit lighter than obviously the background. Let's make this, and when this is hovered, let's make this like 30% opacity. And so when I look at this, right, again, we hover and it's like instant, not smooth. So when I go into appearance, it's like a transition. This is background style. Let's make it 200. No, let's make it 300. Let's see, what is the difference? A little bit different, slower and smoother, right? That's actually what we want. Awesome. So when this is hovered, then this is this background color. Yeah, I believe we have everything we need. So let's just take this, copy, duplicate, paste, copy, paste. And what did we say? We have statistics, then we have database, then we have team, right? More. Then we have team, and we have settings, my account, right? I believe that's enough. Just change the icon for this, which is going to be donut. Donut database is going to be data, right? Hopefully. Okay, so for database, let's do storage. For team, let's do people. Settings is settings. Simple as that. And my account is going to be person, I believe. Let's make it awesome. Now let's group these elements. Let's take home, statistics, database, and team. Let's make it like a top navbar or top selection. And let's group them in a column. Set the gap to 12. And let's name it nav top. For this also, remove the min height again, but padding, let's add some padding at the bottom, which is going to be 20. Why? Because we're going to set the border. The bottom border is going to be solid, and let's make this like a border, again, background border, and let's make this like 30%. How's that look? Let's make it 50% opacity, and the same thing with this. Let's grab this, group it, and row is going to be 12, and this is going to be nav bottom. Awesome. So when I preview what we built so far, you see how nice it is? Oh my goodness. Awesome. So then we need some logic, right? So in terms of the sidebar, the floating group itself, I would do, no, actually, no. Let's change this. Okay. I screwed up, but that does not matter. It's okay. Let's grab all of the groups, right? So group top, nav top, bottom, let's group them in a column. Let's just remove the fit height, and let's do 24. And let's take this group and just remove it from the floating group, right? Because we're gonna make this a floating group. It's gonna be floating group, none, and let's delete the sidebar. Again, sorry about that. I did not think this through, but yeah. So we have this group. Let's make the fixed width 250, and the background color is gonna be like this. So now we have the exact same thing. Let's just set the background style so we see. Awesome. So now we have that, right? And this is gonna be, again, let's name it sidebar large. And layout, this is going to be visible on page loop, collapse when hidden, and we're gonna set the condition when sidebar tutorial, which is essentially this, expand is yes, then this element is visible, right? So when we hide it, we set the state to no, then it's not visible, right? So we have this. So let's design the mini sidebar. Right, so I would just take this large one, copy, and paste it in here. Paste it in here and literally just delete a bunch of stuff. Delete this, delete this, delete this, delete a bunch of text, and fit width to content for everything. Because we are going to let's make this 76, 75, something like that. Yeah. Well, this top. Yeah, let's align it in the center, horizontal alignment. And for this group, for this material icon, just make the arrow to the right, which if you click, it's right here. Awesome. And let's name this sidebar mini. When sidebar's tutorial expand is no, then this element is visible, and the layout, it's not visible on page load. It's not visible on page load, right? So if we hide the mini sidebar and just create a workflow for this one, for this arrow, start edit workflow, it's going to be set state of an element, which is going to be sidebar tutorial, expand to no, right? So let's preview how this looks like. Okay. Let's see. So let's just change the condition when sidebar tutorial expand is no, this element is not visible. And let's see what happens. Awesome. But it doesn't, like, we don't see like this is a sidebar, right? So let's grab this sidebar appearance and let's define each border independently, which is going to be the right one, right? And let's make this border. Let's see how that looks like. Okay, so this, let's then make the border width of 2 and 50% opacity. Let's see how that looks like. I believe that's solid. That's solid. We have to do the same thing for the mini one, right? The mini one, define each border. It's going to be right, boom, 50%, 2, and just set the state of the start edit workflow, set state to show the large sidebar as well. So let's see. It works, but it's not smooth, right? So we have to do something. It's not smooth. Why is that? Because again, it just shows and hides instantly. So what we can do is, when we try to hide this group, so let's go to the workflows, set state, right? So expand equals no. But now let's animate an element, which is going to be sidebar large. Let's animate this element and let's go to transition slide left out. Let's set the custom condition and the custom duration to like 400, and then do another one, animate an element, which is going to be sidebar mini. And the same thing here, transition slide left in instead of out. Let's set it to like 900. How's this going to look like? See? Okay. Well, we have the, obviously let's remove the background color. Let's see how that looks like. You know why that happened? You know, when it was like, when it shows at the bottom and then it shows at the top. The main reason is because this floating group is, the layout is a column, right? So what we have to do is do align to parent. Just change this, and I believe this is going to be changed instantly. So the sidebar large, let's make it left hand, no, let's make it to the corner. Same thing with this, right? So now, let's see. See how smooth that is? This is awesome. This is awesome. Now let's do the same thing for, you know, expanding, and this is going to be the same thing. So animate element, sidebar mini. Let's make this transition left out. Custom duration, let's do 400. Animate element, sidebar large, left in, and let's make this like 600, because it's a little bit different when you're expanding the small one to the larger one. Let's see how that looks like. believe that's solid. That's solid. Now, what else? What else? Ah, okay. Well, obviously, if the prospect or the client is on a specific page, we want them to see, I'm on the home page or statistics page. So what I do here in terms of the database, right, when we hop into data, option sets, I always set my option sets and URL parameters or pass, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 settings account, depending, it depends what kind of application you build, but I set it like this. So when I click on this element, right, home, add a workflow, I want to go to a page. So navigation, go to a page. It's going to be on which, let me see. Oh, this is on test. So test, data to send. Let's do arbitrary text. Get an option, which is going to be URL pass. And let's make it 1. The great thing about this is like, you can change the name. So if I was to go here and change it to home, then home display. So it changes automatically, right? Let's do the same thing for the minibar. When this is clicked, copy, paste. Awesome. And now let's just set a quick condition. So when a sidebar mini, so when this navigation, so when in the URL path is home, this is going to have a different background color, right? So when get data from page URL, it's going to be path as a segment list. URL path item is going to be 2 is home. Yeah. Color, background border, and let's make it 50. Let's copy this condition, paste it in this larger one. Let's see how that works. So we're on this large one. We can expand, we can hide, expand, right? We can hover. And when we click on this, first off, it sends the test home. And yeah, and this is highlighted. So the user obviously knows where he's located. When we hide, the same thing here, right? So this is pretty much set up. The only thing you could do, right, is just copy this condition and paste it in here, but change the, instead of home, this is going to be 2, right? This is going to be 3, and so forth. And obviously create the workflows as well. So we have the sidebar done. So now let's design the input, right? So again, go to reusable elements, add a new reusable element. And I believe I already added, but input tutorial. And let's set a couple of things. So first things first, this is going to be a group, right? Let's do layout align to parent. I did default builder 250 and 120. Let's actually increase the view to like 150 so we see exactly what's going on. Let's make this flat color is going to be a background. And now, let's go. So grab a text. This is very important. And I'm not taking credit for this design. I learned this from Twitter. I'm going to link the guy in the description, a great bubble designer. So yeah, I don't take the credit. I just want to showcase, what is possible. And I learned that from him. But let's grab a text. And this is very important. So first things first, you have to grab a text in order, you'll see exactly what I mean, but let's grab a text. Let's do the layout, which is going to be to the left, right? And let's make this text bottom, I believe. Let's make this text bottom, fit height to content, min width, let's do like 1, fit width, and then let's make this body small, which is going to be 14. Let's do the margins, right? So the margin is going to be to the left, 12, and padding to left and right, 2 and 2, right? Awesome. Let's do email, for example, right? Let's just name it for now, email. Then we're going to grab a input. Where is it? Input, am I blind? Where's, yeah, input right here. Put it in this group and do a layout to the left as well. Let's make this max width 100%, and let's make this 40, same thing here. And padding is going to be 12 by 12 by 12 by 12, right? Same thing for the text, right? That is below. So input email. Let's set the appearance to email, right? It should not be empty, and let's remove the placeholder. So now we should have it like this. So supporting text, I believe this is okay. Flat color is going to be 0, right? So now we see the text, right? And then I believe that's it for now. No, that's it for now. Awesome. Let's grab another text, and it's gonna be text top. No, actually, no. Before we do that, let's delete this and let's create conditions for when the input is focused, right? So let's click on the text bottom. Let's do conditions, and when input email, which is this, right? Input email is focused, the margin, which is gonna be the bottom margin, is gonna be -40. Why -40? Because the input, come on, -40, because the input is 40 pixels high, right? The height is 40 pixels. So let's do this. And in terms of the color, so let's do the color. It's going to be blue, which is going to be the primary color. Let's make this the size. Let's make this to 12. And again, just so I know, let's go to test page. Let's delete this. And let's grab this input, which is going to be input tutorial. Let me actually go to 100 zoom. Let's make this fade height, fade width. It's in the middle. Same thing here. Awesome. So if I was to just preview this, I set the margins the opposite. So text bottom, this is the top margin. So it will essentially be, it's either, so if it's top margin, then it's -40. If it's bottom margin, then it's 40. So if I was to look at this again, boom. Now we have this, right? Now again, it's not smooth, right? Why is that not smooth? So let's go to input and let's just do the transition. And this is going to be a border. So if I hover over this element, again, it's nice. And same thing with this text bottom, right? So if, again, let's preview, let's increase the view, and let's do font size, which is going to be 200. Let's do color, which is going to be 200, and let's do bottom margin, right? Because it moves bottom margin. If I hover, see how smooth that is. Obviously, it doesn't look good right now, but we'll take care of that. So let's copy or duplicate this text. No, actually, let's grab the text. Let's put it in here. Let's do a layout, which is going to be here. Min width, the same thing. Let's do 1. Min height, the same thing. This is going to be body small. Actually, why did I copy the text bottom, paste it in here? It's going to be above, which is going to be text top. And let's actually remove the text, right? Because if you were to click on the input, you would be clicking on the text, right? And we don't want that. We don't want that. And again, when this is focused, it's going to be like this. And let's do background color or style. It's going to be this. Let's make the background color 0 opacity here, but color, background color, 100 opacity when it's focused, right? And one more thing, text bottom, when this is, well, so when the text bottom is so when the input is focused, the text bottom, the actual text is going to be nothing, right? Because then we would have two text, right? So if I hover, I forgot to do something. What did I forget to do? Text. It's going to be email. It's going to be email. So again, see how beautiful that is. We can set up a couple of things. If you don't like, for example, when it's, let's just detach the style. When you don't like it when it's focused, we could do, so what's this? This is border. Let's do like 30%. Oh, let's do like 60%. Oh, come on. The border, let's do like 60%. When it's focused, let's do border 100%. So if I was to preview this, right, now we have email. And now let's do when input emails value is not empty, or input, end, it's going to be end, input email tutorial isn't focused, then the color, font color is going to be the same thing as the border, for example, right? So if I was to preview this, why doesn't that work? Because so I know exactly what I had wrong. So when it's focused, or input emails value is not empty, this is it. So let's remove this one. Let's just copy this expression. Let's paste it in here as well. Let's remove this condition, right? So if I was to preview this, awesome. Now when input emails value is not empty and input emails isn't focused, then just the color, font color is going to be placeholder. No, it's going to be the background. Right, but we see that the input, when it's not valid, you see, and that really depends on what you want to do, how you want it to look like, right? But this is just the border. In terms of how to actually use this reusable element, right? Because this is a group, this is not an input, meaning if you put the reusable element on the group, it's not gonna work, right? So what I have is, I have 3 inputs, which is one for password, one for email, and one for text, right? So I have essentially the same thing, but just 3 times. Because you cannot change the content format in the reusable element itself, right? So I have email, then I have password, text. And let me show you how it actually looks like if you want to connect it dynamically. So add a new property, and this is going to be text bottom, right? Which is going to be dynamic value, is going to be text. This is not going to be optional. Add, then we have text top, dynamic value, text, optional, it's not. And then we have the input, right? Input value, dynamic value, it's going to be text, and the default value is going to be input emails value, right? And add. So if I was to go to the test where it's located, and I wanted to do a bunch of workflows, right? So like sign up a user or something like that, I would essentially just connect those two. To mention one thing, one very crucial thing is when with this text, actually instead of email, you have to dynamically obviously connect it, right? So this is a text bottom, so input tutorials text bottom, and the same thing here. So if I was to copy this and go into the condition and paste, no, come on. Let's do input tutorials text stop, right? So now if you were to, well, obviously I deleted that, but if you were to connect it dynamically, like everything would be connected. So just so you know. And then you're not gonna see any change right now, but if I was to, write something, blah, 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 and then I had a button that signs up the user or logins the user, it's going to take the value of the input, right? Because this is a group and it's not going to work. But let me just show you. Let me quickly show you. Add a button, log in, right? Add a workflow, and let's do account, log in the user, and the email would be input tutorials A, which essentially this is how it's named, right? Input tutorials A, input value, right? It's an email, it fits, boom, it works. So we have the input. Let's quickly look at the last thing, which is the skeleton loading. Let's go, again, this is going to be in the description, but let's go to skeletonreact.com, and this is where we create our loading animation, right? So if I was to go to my database, right, I have a data type called user. It's going to be users, right? We have their email and then last login and name, blah, blah, blah. Let's just do Josh. I don't know, Josh. Where is it? Emirat, I don't know, something very random. John. Right, and let's go to tutorial test and have this button just refresh page, just so you see how exactly that works. But let's grab a group. This is just for pure demonstration how that would work. Let's do fixed width. We don't really care right now. It's 350. No, let's do 500. Same with the height. Let's do 600. No, that's too much. 400. Let's put it in the middle. Let's just set the gap. You can just watch me. You don't have to do anything right now. 10 solid, right? And in this, let's grab a repeating group. Just paste it in here. And let's do type of user. Let's just do a search for users. Doesn't really matter. And let's just quickly design it. This is going to be a row. That's going to be a row. And let's grab a. What do we have? Let's have an image. And the image is going to be, keep the fixed ratio, is going to be 40. Let's just also, it's going to be 40. And it is going to be the logo, right? So dynamic, current sales users, profile picture, avatar. Let's make this around this 10. Then we're going to grab a text, right? Their first name, come on. Current sales users, first name. Let's make this fit with, and just placeholder John. Let's grab this, and let's do the last name, which is gonna be Biden. And last thing, let's do, I don't know, position, like roles display. It's gonna be admin or team member, something like that. Let's also change the color to like black. And let's grab those, put in a row. Do not fit. Let's make the padding like 10. 10, 10, 10, 10. And put this in the middle. This is just for demonstration purposes. This is very simple. Let's do 12. It's not the prettiest, but you know, I believe this will work. And let's go into repeating group appearance, and this is going to be at least 60 minimum height, right? And I believe that's it. However, this group, the first group, is not column. Again, it's line to parent, right? This is obviously visible on page load. Now we have repeating group user, and then we go to skeleton, right? So what it is, 60 and 490. Well, let's make this, instead of 500, let's make this 350, 300, 300. And okay, so let's go to React skeleton, and let's just quickly design our interface. So this is going to be, I believe this one's 40, right? So this one's going to be, we'll see, like this. Background color, let's do like something like this. And let's grab a text. It's going to be this. Grab another text. You know, this is just for a demonstration. Obviously, you can play around with all the text, but what do we say? 296.60, 296.60, so 296, and minimum, this whole group is 400. So if I was to grab this, just grab this and copy, put it below, copy. This is a little bit annoying when you have to, yeah, exactly what I said. When you click somewhere that it's not, copy, and I believe that's enough. That's enough, right? Again, you can play around with this. Go to SVJ and just copy this whole thing. Copy, and let's grab an HTML element. Where's HTML? HTML, and paste it onto this group. All right, let's make this like this and paste it in there. Right, do you see? Now let's just set the condition collapse when hidden. This is not visible on page load, and when repeating group users is loading, this element is visible, right? So if I was to preview this, let's see how they would look like. What I do believe is I have a, I believe I have some privacy rules. Yeah, just delete those privacy rules. And if I was to, again, You see, obviously you have to play around with it and see, you know, how the design is. But if I was to refresh the page again, there's the scatter, and the user experience is much nicer when there's nothing blank. And a lot of people have just short attention span, so they would click on a bunch of things right when it's not loaded. That way you just show the people, you know, this is loading, so just wait a second or two. But other than that, yeah, guys, this was everything. Hopefully you enjoyed. I haven't seen many tutorials on design in Bubble specifically, so hopefully this helped you. But yeah, I have a couple of good videos. I'm waiting for Bubble to prove something. Yeah, this was the design tutorial. It was a pleasure. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.